Hey everyone, today we will show you how to apply for admissions at Estrella Mountain Community College. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is go to my.maricopa.edu, and here is the URL. Once you go to my.maricopa.edu, you will click on Apply Now. It's in the top right here. You click on it, it'll open a new tab. You would click New Student, Apply Now. If you were ever in a dual enrollment class, or if you ever did the WestMec program, you would already have a Maricopa account. In that case, you would click yes. If you never done dual enrollment or WestMec, you would click no. If you're on a student visa, you would know and you would click yes. If you're not on a student visa, then you would click no. For creating your student account, the very first thing they ask you for is your first name, so type it in. Second thing they ask you for is your middle name. If you don't have a middle name, you would click no middle name, and then you would type in your last name. I know some students do have several last names, so you can type in your last names. But in our case, we only have one last name. For your date of birth, you would need to put it in. Your social security, if you do know it, you would need to include it here. If you don't know it, you can always come back and include it after. However, if you have it right now, your best option is to just do it now. Then you would type in your personal email. When typing in your email, make sure it's your personal email and not the email you use or the email that your high school gave you. Because many times students use the email from their high school, and then when they end up graduating from high school, they can no longer access that email, and they'll miss important emails that Maricopa or Estrella Mountain might send out to them. So make sure it's your personal email and that you will have access to it in the future. Okay, once you do that, you will type in your phone number. So type it in. Once you type in your phone number, underneath phone type, you will select whether it's your home phone, your cell phone, or your business phone. In this case, this is a cell phone. And then the next thing it asks you for is whether you give permission to the Maricopa Community Colleges to send text messages or automated calls. You would select yes or no. We recommend students to select yes so they can have important messages being sent to their phones in regards to either their student center or any events happening at Estrella or Maricopa. The next thing it asks you for is security check. You would just check it off. And then you would create username. So click on create username. And then it will load the bottom. Please know your username below. If you need to exit your application, your username and password will allow you to log back in. So this right here is your MEID. Make sure you write it down. It should start with the first three letters of your name and then random numbers. So make sure you have that on hand and you don't lose it. For your password needs to be 10 characters long, must have one uppercase and one lowercase, and at least one number and one special character. And then you would need to select an account recovery question. In this case, we're going to select what is the name of your high school. I will type it in. select next. Once you're taken to this new page, you will scroll down, and then the very first thing is confirming that your name and last name is correct, and then a suffix if any of these qualify for you, and then you can select a preferred name. So in case you go by a nickname, if you want to go by that nickname and you want your professors to call you by that nickname, you will include that here by preferred name. Or if you would just like them to call you by your birth name, you can select that, and they'll call you by that. Next thing is they ask for your country. It would be United States, and then your address. You would type in your address. Okay, once you've typed in your address, you typed in your zip code, your city, and your state, you would need to include an emergency contact. So in case something ever happens to you or we want to get a hold of you and we can't, we will contact this emergency contact. Okay, and then it asks you for your demographics. And then tuition and fees are based on your residency status. Will you live in Arizona while attending? You would select yes. What Arizona county will you live in? This is county, meaning Maricopa, not your city or your country. It will be the Maricopa County. When did you move or when will you move to Arizona? So depending on how long you've lived here, you will indicate that below. If you were born here in Arizona and you never moved, you would use your date of birth. So Rory was born here in Arizona and he has never moved. So their birthday is January 1st, 2000. And then at the very bottom, for verification of lawful presence, you would select any of these categories that best describes your residency status. And then at the very bottom, by checking this box, you are swearing under penalty that you will submit lawful presence documentations and that the information provided on this form is true and complete. And then you would select next. Okay, everyone, so once you've clicked next, it will redirect you to this page. And then the very first thing it asks you for is special programs. Under special programs, you would select any of the programs that apply to you. If that does not apply to you, you will just leave it blank. For the next section, it will ask you what would your high school completion status be when you begin attending college. You would select high school diploma because once you start school at Estrella Mountain, you would have already completed your high school diploma and graduated high school. For the second question, it asks you where your high school is located in the country, or what country. You would select United States. And then for the state, you would select Arizona or whatever state you are applying from. The next question, it asks you for your high school name. So you would select the name of your high school that applies to you. Once you selected your high school, you would have to indicate your graduation date. So whenever you will graduate, you will indicate that date here. The highest level of education completed, you will indicate no college or university because the majority of you are still in high school and haven't completed any college. You will select no college or university. The next question, it asks you whether your parents/guardians have completed a bachelor's degree. You would indicate yes or no, or if you prefer not to answer. Then you will select next. Okay, once you've clicked next, it will redirect you to this page where you would be selecting your field of interest and the college you plan on transferring to. So the very first question is primary college of interest. What college do you plan on going to? Then for the field of interest, you will select the field of interest that you plan on completing at Estrella Mountain or the college you selected. If you don't know what field of interest are or like more information on the different field of interest that are offered at Estrella, you can click on field of interest on this big blue button and it will redirect you to the district website where you can explore the different fields of interest as well as what they consist of and the coursework you would be doing for that degree. So going back, after we've explored the field of interest and we've came to a conclusion of which one we would like to complete, we would select it. Our primary reason for attending this college would be to get an associate's degree and transfer over to a university. Once we've selected that, we will select a plan that most aligns with our career and educational goals. Once we've done that, we will select when we plan on starting classes. So you would select the semester you plan on starting classes. Are you planning on attending full-time or part-time? So we are going to select full-time student. Do you plan on transferring to university? Once we select yes, it will give you a question where it asks you what university you intend on transferring to. Then we are going to click on add to my application. And as you can see here, it mentions your term on when you plan on starting, your academic goal/career plan here, and then your field of interest. At the very bottom, it asks you, are all of the college and programs for your applications shown above? You would click yes. Then we are going to click next. Once you've gone ahead and clicked next, you'll be redirected to the page of requirements and disclosures. So it'll be your responsibility to go ahead and read all the requirements and disclosure on this page. Once you've gone ahead and read through all the disclosures and requirements, you will go ahead and click next. On this page, you will upload a photo of your photo ID, driver's license, passport, or your high school ID. You could either do a mobile ID upload or a desktop upload. If you don't have any of these at the moment, you can click skip and submit. And then it'll pop up saying, are you sure you want to skip ID verification? You would click yes, or in this case, okay. And then just give it some time while it processes your application. Next, it will redirect you to this page where it will give you a welcome statement. All this information is very important. Make sure you write down your MEID because this is the login you will use, your student ID because when you want to contact a department At Estrella or any Maricopa college, they will ask you for your student ID in order to pull up your account. And then make sure you do write down your Maricopa email. This is your official student email as a Maricopa student, so make sure you write this down because you will get important emails and messages in your email. After you wrote down your MEID and student ID, you would need to go back to the my.maricopa.edu homepage. At the very homepage, you would need to scroll down just a bit and click on Student Center. When you click on Student Center, it will redirect you to another page where you would log in using the information you got on the completion page. So your MEID, which is the one that starts with 3 letters and then a whole bunch of numbers, that would be your user ID, and then the password would be the one that you created. Okay, and now you are logged in. This is your official student center, and this is where you would see all the information that you would need in regards to your student profile at Estrella or the college you applied to. So now we reached the end of our video on how to apply for admissions at Estrella. If you guys do have any questions, our information is on the screen and you guys can go ahead and contact us and we will get back to you as soon as possible.